You know you're ready. You want to talk some Bears football. Oh, there we go. It feels good to get that out of the system a little bit, doesn't it? Kind of therapeutic, if you will. We got an interesting one, a good one, maybe, coming up on Sunday. Certainly a point of interest. You've got the Steelers traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears in that third-rate dump of a stadium called Soldier Field. So thinking about and looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers coming into this one, they're 6-4 leaders by one game over the suddenly resurgent Baltimore Ravens. When you look at the Steelers, they basically got to go 3-4 in their last 7 games to extend Mike Tomlin's career streak for non-losing seasons. Certainly feels like they're on the path to do that again this year. Props to Pittsburgh, though. 2 weeks ago had a really bad loss in prime time against the Chargers. Came back on Sunday. Got some revenge against the Bengals, who had beaten them early in the year on a Thursday night. Not only got some revenge, but they won pretty comfortably, 34-12. That's when your team coming off a really bad loss, you want to see your team respond, and they certainly responded. So to Mike Tomlin, that coaching staff, and the players. When you assess who the Steelers are as a team this year, this is one of these things that almost feels like statistically the record doesn't match who the stats say they are, because their offense isn't very good. They're 28th in total yards, 12th in points scored, and it's 29th in rushing yards, 22nd in passing yards. So they're just not moving the ball a ton down the field. Now they're scoring points, taking advantage of opportunities, but this is not a prolific or efficient offense by any stretch of the imagination. And for the defense, realistically, they're not a whole lot better, at least statistically. They're 28th in total yards allowed, 16th in points allowed, so middle of the pack for points allowed, bottom of the barrel when it comes to total yards allowed. They're okay against the run and really, really horrendously bad against the pass. Needless to say, this is a really important game for the Steelers. They've got to be able to stay ahead of the Ravens. You don't want to lose that positioning in the AFC North. And it's a critically important game when you think about the next two are against Buffalo and Baltimore. You know, if Pittsburgh doesn't win this one, and then you go on to those next two games and you hit a little bit of a backslide, now all of a sudden you're talking about the Steelers at 6-7, likely a game or two back in the AFC North, and you're really starting to wonder what's going to happen that last month of the season. Meanwhile, let's talk about the Bears, where we're partying like it's 2001, because that's starting to be what this season feels like a little bit. Another week, another dramatic fourth quarter victory, this time over the Vikings. Cairo Santos' 48-yard field goal at the end to win it. They beat Minnesota 19-17. And it's the third straight week with a dramatic fourth quarter comeback victory. And you could go a lot of different ways with that. You could say they're finding ways to win, and that's something good teams do. Sure, that's true. It's also true to say they haven't beat a team with a winning record yet, and these are some ugly performances against bad teams. That is also true, folks. But 7-3 is 7-3, and believe it or not, this is a matchup of division leaders. Yeah, the Steelers are leading the AFC North, but the Bears are the leaders in the NFC North at 7-3. How about them apples, huh? Who'd have seen that coming 10 games into this season, especially in a tough division like the NFC North is? Big reason for that is their offense. They rank 4th in total yards and 8th in points scored. And it's ironic, though, when you look at this team, I would in no way, shape, or form look at this as being an elite offense. Not at all. But yet statistically, at least by some measures, they hold up as such. It's just an interesting dynamic. But what holds it back a little bit certainly has been the defense this year. You could blame injuries, you could blame this and that. Bottom line is defense just hasn't been good enough. 27th in total yards allowed, 26th in total points allowed. It's a bad defensive unit. It feels like they've played a little better the past 2 weeks, but, you know, that's not saying a whole lot, right? They were doing it against a rookie Jackson Dart, and then when he goes out with the injury, a cooked Russell Wilson, and then last week against J.J. McCarthy. As I mentioned before, the Bears have yet to beat a team with a winning record. I know this is going to be shocking, stunning when you think about the Bears and what's been the key to their success. Sit down, batten down the hatches, but they're a high-volume rushing team. Bears football, of course they are. But honestly, that's what Ben Johnson believes in. Like, is what they did in Detroit. It's got a similar thing here in Chicago, and you can see it. And Caleb Williams, admittedly, like we got to be honest, he's been a mixed bag this year. We've seen some real growth with him avoiding sacks. Still a really solid interception percentage. I think he's at 13 touchdowns and only 4 INTs on the year. So he certainly would take that low INT total, but that completion percentage of his is dog shit. It's below 60%. That's bottom barrel stuff. And it accurately reflects horrible downfield accuracy at all levels. So it's not just a thing of, the stats say one thing, but the film says something different. Nah, the stats say his accuracy sucks, and the film says his accuracy sucks. He's shown the ability to come up big in recent weeks and key moments, but he's too scattered throughout games. He just is. He's got to find a way to be more consistent in his performance for all 4 quarters, so maybe he doesn't have to come up so big late in games. As you look ahead to this game on Sunday, the Bears are 2.5-point favorites. The over-under on this one is 46, and both of those feel pretty reasonable. Injury report-wise for the Steelers, Alex Highsmith is doubtful, so unlikely to play. Cameron Hayward and Darius Slay off that defense are questionable. I think I expect both of them to play. But the big one, obviously, is Aaron Rodgers. Is he going to play with that left wrist injury? I'm leaning towards yes. I can't imagine he would want to sit this one out if at all possible, because he's enjoyed so much success against the Bears over the years. Why would he want one last opportunity to say, I still own you? Meanwhile, for the Bears, another week, more injuries. All 3 of their starting linebackers out. Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, all out of the lineup this week. That's not good. Offensively, you've got Roschon Johnson and Travis Homer out. I really ain't missing anything at this point. But then you got Theo Benedict and Jaquan Brisker questionable. You'd assume both of them are going to play, but they're still listed as questionable. And then you got guys coming off of injuries like Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. They are technically listed as questionable. We'll see whether one or both of them actually suits up this weekend. I'm not sure that they will, but we will find out. It would be a lift, though, if Kyler and Jalen were actually healthy and able to play this week. It would be a big boon to a defense that's missing its entire starting linebacking group. In terms of the keys to victory here for both teams, for Pittsburgh, work the middle of the field in the passing game. Attack the linebackers. Attack Ruben Hippolyte. You've got to go at them in this one. Aaron Rodgers loves to throw to the tight ends. This should be a big game for that trio of tight ends that they have in Darnell Washington, Pat Freiermuth, and Jonnu Smith. All of those guys should see a lot of targets. Running backs, like Kenneth Gainwell, Jaylen Warren, they should see plenty of targets in the passing game too. Work the middle of the field in the passing game. And then avoid turnovers. A key to success for the Bears this year when they're winning games is they're forcing turnovers. And if they don't force turnovers, it's a really tough spot for them to be in. So if you protect the football, don't turn it over, don't make it easier for Chicago, you make them work a lot harder. That really, really helps. And that's a critical thing when you talk about being on the road. And the other key to victory, frankly, for the Steelers is Aaron Rodgers needs to play. We're going to sit there and pretend like Mason Rudolph isn't dog shit. I'm just sorry. I'm just saying, that's the other key to victory. For Chicago, their primary passing game emphasis, I'm going to continue to talk about it. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, Colston Loveland. Get these motherfuckers involved in the passing game early. Those are the 3 guys that should be getting the lion's share of your targets. They bring something different to the offense, especially in the case of Burden and Loveland. You got to find a way to attack this really bad Pittsburgh Steelers secondary. There's big numbers that could be had on this unit. You got to go out there and find them, damn it. And then defensively, this front 4 has to get pressure. They just have to. I don't know how you're going to do that. Be a miracle if they actually did. Be nice if Austin Booker had a good game. But they need to get some pressure on the front 4. They need to make life uncomfortable for Aaron Rodgers as much as they can. But here's the thing. I posted this on Twitter a little earlier. And I did it in part because I was bored. But I was saying, hey, if you only have one choice, you can only choose one. Again, only choose one. If you're a Bears fan, would you rather beat the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers on Sunday or beat the Packers in a couple of weeks? And to me, the answer is easy. It's Aaron Rodgers. You can say, well, it's the Packers, it's a divisional game, and the playoffs, and da-da-da. And the Bears aren't a contender this year anyways, let's be honest. Additionally, they'd have another chance in a couple weeks afterwards to beat the Packers. So give me the victory the petty victory over the guy that has owned the Bears for so fucking long. Give me a chance to at least get some closure, because the Bears beat the Packers in a couple of weeks. It's likely 10, 15 years from now we really won't remember that. But if the Bears beat Aaron Rodgers on fucking Sunday, that is something that Bears fans will remember 10, 15 years from now. I don't give a fuck about anything else. I want Aaron Rodgers to play on Sunday. I want him to be there. I want him to be healthy. I want him to be at his absolute best, because I want there to be no fucking excuses when the Chicago Bears finally get some revenge and push his fucking shit in. Fuck him. Bear down, bitches. I'm going to pick Bears 23, Steelers 19. God, I want to beat Aaron Rodgers so fucking bad on Sunday. Fuck next week. Fuck 2 weeks from now. It's all about this game on Sunday. Beat the fucking Steelers. Beat Aaron Rodgers. Get to 8-3, damn it. That's the name of the game.